What's happening, Dogo Argentino lovers? Are you having a problem with puppy biting? Well, we are going to get into puppy biting in today's episode. Hey, if you haven't been here before, do me a favor, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications because that turns on the YouTube algorithm, and that's the only way micro channels like mine can survive. So please, give me some love. Give me a comment, a thumbs up. That would be fantastic. Puppy biting. Why does puppy biting happen? Puppy biting is a natural way that a young puppy explores the world. The way an infant will stick objects into its mouth, puppies bite. Also, puppies lose the teeth, also sometimes called milk teeth or baby teeth, around 3 to 4 months of age, and therefore teething can definitely be attributed to certain puppy biting. The other thing about puppy biting is it is something that they do eventually grow out of. You shouldn't have puppy biting at a year old. However, you can nip it in the bud if you are consistent. Consistency is so important across every family member. Every family member, your spouse, your kids, has to handle it the same way. The more inconsistent you are, the longer it's going to take to train out. The more consistent you are, not only are you going to enhance the bond by presenting boundaries, which is what is done in a pack, but also you're not going to be bit up. Nobody wants that. I don't want that for you. I do not want that for you. I want you to take your puppy and you're going to do a vigorous exercise for maybe 10 minutes. And then you're going to go into your kitchen, set up the X-Pen, put the puppy in the X-Pen. Before you get into the X-Pen, I want you to take a product called Bitter Apple. It is an apple cider vinegar spray. You're going to thoroughly spray your hands, your arms, your clothing. You are going to reek like apple, and that is just what's up. You need to have the puppy on a nylon collar and a leash attached, and then you need a high-value toy, preferably one that's got a squeaker. So the first thing you're going to do is get into the cage with the puppy. Make sure that the leash is within grabbing range of your hands, and you're going to not give it the toy at first. I want you to pet the puppy firmly. You're not trying to hurt it, but you're trying to apply pressure to places like ears, feet, belly, genital region. Why? Because you are teaching the puppy that firm touch is part of the puppy's life. It is a form of socialization because you don't want the puppy to startle at the vet's office, for example, when he's touching the genital region, particularly in boys, to see if both testicles have descended. You want to make sure that the puppy doesn't freak out if somebody's touching its ears or its belly or its feet. And so this is a two-pronged method. You are going to inhibit biting, but you're also going to get it desensitized to human touch in areas that might not ordinarily be easy for the puppy to accept. Now, one of the things that people make a huge mistake is that they play with the puppy using their hand directly, like, oh, look at my hand, and the puppy goes crazy. Its prey drive is engaged and it tries to get the hand and bite the hand. Don't ever do this. Literally, don't do it. You can't play with your hand and make it an exciting toy that you want the puppy to chase, and then it is going to bite, and then turn around and be like, oh, I'm scratched up. This puppy's been biting me like a land shark. Bite, 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 bite. So don't use your hand. Always use a substitute. Dogo Argentinos have some of the top jaw strength in the world of dogs. I think they're like number 8, maybe number 9 of the most strong-jawed canines on earth. You don't want them to bite or to think ever that biting is acceptable. Biting is never, ever acceptable. Get into the pen, sit down, do the firm touch, and let's assume that the puppy bit you. You're going to use the word that you have chosen for no. I don't personally use the command no because I use it so much in common language. I use the word off. Whatever term you've decided to use, whether it's no, break, stop, off, say that word, say it firmly, and the puppy is going to ignore you because your thoughts on certain things are not very important to a young puppy because they have not yet developed an allegiance to the pack order, not only because you're new, if this is a puppy you just got and didn't personally breed, but also because pack allegiance really doesn't start to develop until usually somewhere between 6 and 9 months. So you'll say no, the puppy will ignore you and will continue to bite. If the puppy bites you, I want you to immediately substitute a toy. Squeaky toy, squeaky toy. You know, get the puppy's attention. Now, that isn't really per se training it not to bite or bite inhibition, but you are redirecting its energy, and that is the first step. So let's assume that your puppy is not at all interested in the squeaky toy. It means nothing and continues to bite you. You are going to give that leash a little pop, just a real quick jerk, and it has to be very close, within 1.5 seconds to the time the puppy bit you. Otherwise, there is no association. So let's assume that that didn't work. You have exercised your puppy. You have the deterrent on all over your arms so that hopefully it's getting a mouthful of nasty. You've tried to redirect to a toy. You've done a leash pop, still nothing. Now you are going to do the coup d'etat. You are actually going to physically leave the area as quickly as possible with no fuss. Don't speak to the puppy, just like he bites, you're out for 2 minutes. Look at it on your watch, because ending the game is the worst possible thing you can do to a puppy, because puppies want to play, right? All the time. Everybody knows puppies want to play. So if you're ending the game, OMG, that usually gets their attention. Now let's say that you have a particularly prey-driven Dogo Argentino puppy. This is really common because they are a prey-driven hunting breed. So don't be discouraged. You are probably going to have this situation happen. So let's say that you've been working with a puppy 3-4 days and you do it every single time. And that's really important. Consistency is so important in terms of training, because you are setting the boundaries of what's acceptable in your household. When people ask, how do I bond with my Dogo Argentino puppy? This is one of the ways. Showing it yes and no through training is one of the ways that you bond, that you show this is the culture that you have joined. And it is a culture where I, as the human, am in charge, and you as the Dogo are not. Because your Dogo will be happiest, your Dogo will be the best behaved if you take firm, consistent, unwavering leadership with your dog. And that means every time a behavior that you don't like occurs, you have to do the training. If you ignore the behavior and only do it sometimes or do it extremely inconsistently, and I apologize for the car next to me that is blasting the bass, you are going to have a much longer training time. Now, I will tell you that this is a particularly difficult behavior to curb, and it usually takes 1 to 2 months. Now, puppy biting tends to hit a frenzy when they're very young, so 8-9 weeks, and then it tends to have a spike between 3 and 4 months when they go through actual teething, because between 3 and 4 months is when they lose their baby teeth and get their adult teeth. So let's say that you have been 100% consistent. Everybody in your house has been consistent, and you have done all the behaviors. You, at, I would say 3 months, I wouldn't do it before. At 3 months, you can add an aversion technique. And what that is while you are playing with a puppy, if you're still getting tons of bites, you're still doing everything that I told you, you're still exercising the puppy, you're still trying to coach yourself in bitter apple, you have tried to redirect with either a toy, or maybe you've moved up to a high value treat like a bully stick, you're still getting biting, you can then do your leash pop, you can do your absence if you're still getting the behavior at that point. And let's say that you've been working with a puppy from 8 weeks and it's now, say, 3.5 months old. You can add the aversion technique, which is you're going to take your 2 fingers and you're going to put firm pressure. You're not per se pinching, you're not trying to hurt the puppy, but you're letting it know that you don't appreciate it, and you can squeeze either the ear, the lip, and that will usually do it. Now, the good thing is, after they get their adult teeth at usually around 4, somewhere between 3.5 and 4.5 months old, usually the biting dies down at that period, both because the dog has advanced psychologically and is not sticking everything in its mouth to bite, but also because hopefully its teeth aren't hurting anymore because its adult teeth have come in. But those are the best ways to address puppy biting. And I remind you, never use your hand as a toy. Always use a toy, because you don't want a Dogo growing up to think that it can bite your hand. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so that you can join me at Dogo Argentino USA, the channel where we chat Dogo. Thanks, and have a Dogo-tastic day.